G'day there ladies and gents, it's Connor here again, and we're back with some more stories from Reddit. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Anyway, hit like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff, and let's get straight into the stories. Alright, this one's from Relationships. It was written by user Ross Raiders, and it's titled, Me with my ex-girlfriend. She has super conservative parents. We broke up a long time ago, but her parents just found out we had sex, and her dad just messaged me. What should I do? Hello good people of Reddit. I frequent this sub a lot and I know it's filled with lots of good people that give pretty good advice. Throw away because friends know my Reddit account. Sorry in advance if it sounds rushed or anything. I'm kinda rushed and just wrote what I could. I'll answer any questions that anyone may have. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep the main essentials. I met Megan last summer and we began dating. We were both virgins at the time. I had messed around with other girls before but never had actually gone all the way before. She basically saw it as I'd already lost my virginity though. She has really conservative parents, as do I, who believe that you should hold off until marriage to have sex, etc. Well, long story short, after dating for a while, we began having sex. We always had protection and were careful. I just want to stress the fact that she was 18 at the time we started dating, and she turned 19 while we dated, although because she was held back a year, she was still a senior in high school while I was already in college. While we dated, her dad once asked me if I'd ever had sex before, and I lied and told him no. She had told me to lie for us, so I did, and he knew where my parents worked and I guess called me paranoid, but they have a history of doing rash decisions, so I didn't want there to be a chance where they would try and reach out to my parents and tell them what I'd done. We broke up in February because the relationship wasn't working. We were fighting a lot and we decided to split ways. It wasn't exactly amicable, but we've talked a handful of times since and have been civil. I've tried to push that whole relationship out of my life since and move on. So, onto the problem at hand. She texted me today out of the blue, telling me if anyone from her family contacts me to not tell them anything or answer anything. I asked her why and she told me she told her sister she wasn't a virgin anymore and that she had sex with me and one other guy after we broke up. Her sister told her parents, so she wanted to warn me before they reached out to me. I didn't really think anyone would bother contacting me, so I shrugged it off and told her whatever and left it at that. Now, her dad just sent me a message on Facebook telling me he needs to speak with me when I have a chance. I haven't opened up the message just to not show the read part, but I saw the little notification on my phone. Yes, I do realize that I'm 21, and if he tells my parents it shouldn't matter because I'm on my own, and they don't really have a say in my life anymore, which they don't. But they believe about waiting till marriage for sex for religious reasons, and if they find out I had sex, it will really hurt them and most definitely make a rift in our relationship. I've already had a rocky relationship with them and I don't want to make it worse. My question is, what should I do? Should I ignore the dad? What if he contacts my parents and tells them? Should I tell him anything? I don't want to argue whether I should care if my parents found out or about religious morals, just about the situation with my ex's parents. I really appreciate any advice and support you guys can offer. Honestly, if it was me, I'd be ignoring that text 100%. I don't think any parent should be invested this much in their adult children's sex lives. It's kind of weird. Let's go to the comments. Do not respond to the crazy person. Ignore it. This is the only move, period. OP, if you want to send the message that you're an adult, it's time to start acting the part. Not only is your sex life none of his business, it's none of your parents' business either. It should be absolutely laughable that he believes he can hold any control over you because of this. Block him on Facebook and your phone. As for your parents, if you can't handle them finding out you had sex, then you're going to live your life in fear of every little thing they disapprove of. It's time to get over it. You're an adult. This is your life, not theirs. If they want a relationship with you, they need to realize that. It's part of transitioning from a childhood relationship with your parents to an adult relationship. Good luck. One thing I would leave unread for all of eternity is that Facebook message right there. Ignore him. You broke up like 7 months ago. Her sex life isn't her dad's business. Your sex life isn't his business, or your parents' business for that matter. Yeah, it would suck if your parents found out and wanted to hold it against you that at 21 years old you've had sex before, but that's pretty naive and ridiculous of them. Either way, what's done is done, and talking to this guy seems like a waste of time, in my opinion. Curtly say that you are a gentleman and do not discuss such intimate matters with anyone. that you are broken up with her but have respect for her, so you would not share any private information about her. In other words, make it clear how wildly inappropriate he is being, discussing his daughter's sexual history with other men. Yep, pretty unanimous in the comments. Okay, Opie updates. So I've been reading all of your comments and I appreciate it, and everything everyone's been saying. I decided not to answer him and just wait it out. She texted me again telling me she was sorry, but she came clean to her dad, and she hopes everything works out and he doesn't take measures. I don't know what that means, and frankly I don't really care. I agree that this is between him and her, and we've broken up for a while, so there's no reason why he should be looking into me for an explanation. She texted me and told me not to ignore her dad because he has my parents' phone number and will call them if he has to. I talked to my roommate and a few of my friends that lived in my apartment, and they advised me to message him back, but feel out the conversation, not admit to anything and not justify anything. It is what it is and it happened. I honestly don't see what he gets out of talking to me or lecturing me or whatever he wants to do. I do hope he doesn't call my parents because that would be a real dick thing of him to do for literally no reason at all. This whole thing is such a headache that I thought was supposed to be over with. I appreciate all the input and I'll update once I can or have something to update with. And another update. Wow, this has really blown up way bigger than I thought it would. I've been reading through all the comments and I appreciate all the advice from you guys. So, onto the update. I woke up this morning and my dad called me. I feared the worst, but he only needed basic tech support for his computer and that was all he wanted. I felt relieved and went through my day. A little while ago, my sister calls me and asks me what my ex's dad's name is. I tell her, and she tells me that he called dad and left a voicemail saying he was going to try and call again today. Most of my family was there and I was on speakerphone, so they asked if I knew anything, and I told them I wouldn't know why my ex's family would try to contact them after us being broken up for such a long time. My dad said it was odd and he would wait for the call and see what was up. He figures her dad just wants advice on something, so he would let me know what it's about. I called my sister shortly after and told her why he was calling, and her response was literally bursting out in laughter. She thinks it's really weird for him to do this because he gains nothing from calling us. My ex is obviously not pregnant, and we both don't think he would try to pull the consent card, so we figured he just wants to tell on me, basically, and that would be that. My sister and dad are hanging out all day today, and she told me not to worry about it, and it will be okay. She'll be texting me and will let me know or give me a heads up if anything happens. As soon as I get a response, I'll let you guys know. Yeah, and honestly, bursting out into laughter is an appropriate response. This grown man is going to tell on a 20-year-old kid for having sex. So stupid. Okay, onto an update, a month later. So I tried making this post a little while back, but it was taken down because it was an update. I don't know, either way, a lot of you asked for an update, so here it is. Hopefully this one isn't taken down. Wow, so that last post pretty much blew up more than I thought. I want to thank everyone who commented on it. I may not have been able to respond to everyone, but I did read them, and fairly enjoyed some of them, as well as appreciated the advice. So I wanted to wait until after the weekend to post the update because a lot has happened, and oh man, it's a pretty good update that most of you will enjoy. So her dad called my dad and was very emotional and pretty ticked off that I lied to him, in the sense that I not only told him I hadn't slept with her, but didn't plan on it. What else are you supposed to say? Yes, I plan on going hard on the paint, WTF? My dad was pretty taken back and didn't really know what to say. Her dad continued on saying how he wanted to let my parents know what a man-tramp I was and how I took his daughter's virginity and that it needed to be fixed. My dad just told him he was sorry. He was disappointed in me and he would handle it. He talked to him some more and calmed him down, and then hung up and blocked his number. My dad called me and told me what had happened. I did not give them a heads up. He was pretty calm about it. For a bit he thought the guy wanted money or something, but when he realized he basically just wanted to tattle, he just left it at that. My mum, on the other hand, called me shortly after and flipped out on me about how I could have gotten her pregnant, and did I even think about what would have happened if she got pregnant? Or if I got an STD and a whole bunch of other things? Basically a fun time. I went home this past weekend to pick up something from my parents' house I needed for my apartment. Something that was mine. I just couldn't take it with me the first time because it didn't fit in the car. So it was a pretty awkward weekend. I did see my sister, and she made so many jokes about how one would go fixing a situation like this, how my ex wanted to. Because, virginities are basically sold and given and whatnot. But yeah, that's the update. All is well for now. Many awkwards were had, and the relationship with the parents is much strained. One comment says, X's sister narked on the X, X's dad narks on OP, whole family's a bunch of rats. The X's parents sound like the type that are going to wonder why their kids don't talk to them in 10 years. What does the dad expect to happen? That OP's parents will pay a virginity dowry? What century is that man living in? Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking. I'd be interested to know where this happened, that's for sure. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it from that story, and we'll move on to the next. Okay, well, over on Am I the A-Hole, this one was written by user Petty Woman, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for financially screwing over my sister after finding out she's close with my ex and his wife? Usually I wouldn't take personal advice from strangers online, but everyone in my life seems to think I'm a petty, scorned, bitter woman, which I probably am, and I need objective advice. My ex-husband, currently 43, and I, 43 female, were college sweethearts. For me, life felt perfect. I trusted him completely. That's why it was so shocking when I found out he was in love with his much younger colleague. She was around 24 at the time. I won't get into the details of how I found out, but the affair was well known at his workplace. When I confronted him, all he said was, I'm sorry, I tried really hard not to fall for her. He didn't seem sorry at all. It felt like he wanted me to leave him. So I did. That was 6 years ago. Our son was 4 then, and it was the worst time of my life. I honestly don't know how I got through it. And because I was desperate, I wanted him to fight for me, to fight for our family. But he didn't. He was quick to sign the divorce papers and didn't even fight for custody. It was as if he'd started a new life and completely erased the old one. It took years of therapy to feel normal again, to stop checking that woman's social media and comparing myself to her. The fact that she's very pretty and charming didn't help. His family loved her, and as disgusting as it sounds, one of our common friends even said it out loud. I don't support cheating, but I mean, look at her. When I told her about the cheating, I guess that's what everyone was thinking. This one was just stupid enough to voice it out, so I had to cut off that group of friends too. They got married 3 years ago and now have a daughter, a picture-perfect little family. The current arrangement is that our son stays with my ex on weekends and holidays, which works fine for the most part. Last week, I found out my sister, 28, has been in touch with my ex all these years. That would have been forgivable since they were close when we were married and she saw him as a brother, but she's actually best friends with his new wife, and she kept it from me for 6 years. I only found out because she left her phone at my house and I saw several texts from the wife. When I asked her about it, she just brushed it off and said it wasn't a big deal. I told her she can do what she wants, but I'll be cutting her off completely. I was helping her pay her college loans, lol, and going no contact. She called me unreasonable and said I'm being petty and unable to move on from something that happened a long time ago. She also said the wife is a lovely person and a good friend. She said she'd be screwed financially speaking. I told her to go F herself. Somehow my parents agree with her. So, am I the a-hole? Geez, I mean, yeah, it was a long time ago, but why the need to keep it a secret? Obviously the sister knew this would hurt her. Let's go to the comments. So your sister only cared to have you pay her loans. That's why she kept it a secret, and that's why you shouldn't feel bad cutting her off. She needs to ask your lovely ex and his wife to foot the bill from here on out, not the a-hole. She says, I know, she clearly chose a side during the divorce, but pretended to be on mine for the money. Not the a-hole. Anyone who sides with a cheater is probably a cheater themselves. Maybe your sister can ask your ex and his wife to help instead, seeing as how they're best friends. Opie replies, it's strange, and I honestly don't know what level of pretty privilege this is, but no one seems to care what they did. They see 2 attractive people and act like that justifies everything. The cheating doesn't matter because they're easy to look at. If nothing else, it made it a lot easier for me to cut a lot of people out of my life. Not the a-hole, OP. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked your sister hid her friendship with them from you. I mean, she's your sister. I once helped my brother hide a surprise party for his wife. But this is different. She says, yep, 6 years, countless interactions and not a word. Not the a-hole. Sooner or later, one of those perfect people will cheat again, and you can eat some popcorn while all their friends take sides. She replies, I don't doubt that, but honestly, this woman worships my ex. From what I've heard, she pursued him despite knowing he was married, and he didn't resist. He's a despicable human being, and so is she. Why the hell do your parents agree with your sister? I hope you get some therapy to deal with all the users in your life, not the a-hole. She replies, my ex and my sister were pretty close all those years we were married. I mean, she's known him since she was a kid, so they think it's not fair for me to want her to cut him off completely. I would have been fine with that, but again, she hid this for 6 years, and being close friends with his wife is just pushing it too far. Opie responds to a comment about if her son knows what's going on. Has her ex and his wife tried to turn the son against OP? Well, obviously not. Whatever our issues are, that's still his dad who he adores. I'm capable of setting aside my feelings for the sake of my child. And they haven't. He enjoys his time with them and looks forward to it. I haven't thought that long into the future. He's 10 now. Maybe when he's older I'll tell him the truth. I don't know, to be honest. Right now he's happy with whatever arrangement we have. Okay, now an update, 4 days later. This is my first and last update. So I spoke to my sister again. She apologized for reacting that way last time, also for keeping it from me all these years. She said she didn't tell me because she knew I would ask her to choose, and she didn't want to be put in that position. She said she never wanted to hurt me, but at the same time she couldn't bring herself to walk away from the people who had been there for her. She said it never felt fair to cut him off completely. Growing up, our parents were barely around. They were always busy with work, and for a long time it was just me and my ex who were actually present in her life. He was like family to her. Then she brought up the accident she was in around 5 years ago. I knew about it, of course. She had multiple fractures, hematomas, and internal bruising. She was in the hospital for a while and bedridden for weeks. I always assumed our parents were taking care of her. I never asked, and I never really checked in. I was too busy trying to manage a recent divorce, a small child, a career, and whatever was left of my mental health. She said it was my ex's wife who stepped up. She took her to every appointment, picked up prescriptions, brought food, helped her move around, stayed with her when she couldn't be alone. And at one point she said, I know it hurts you, but she was there. He was there. You weren't. You didn't even come to the hospital. I thought I was going to die, and you didn't even show up. She cried while telling me all of this. She said she still wants a relationship with me, but she's not going to cut them off. She also said she's fine with me not helping her with the loans anymore. She's planning to get a part-time job and figure it out herself. She told my ex and the wife about our conversation. Apparently they offered to help her financially, but she turned it down too. I just listened. Then I told her she's free to do whatever she wants, and so am I, and to never call me again. So that's where we are. Wow, talk about a plot twist. I really don't know what to think now. Let's see what the comments say. One downvoted comment says, you didn't even ask if your sister was dead? With friends like you, who needs an enemies? Opie says, I had a 5-year-old, a full-time job, and a brain that was barely holding it together. I texted her, but no, I didn't go to the hospital. I assumed our parents were taking care of her. I was wrong. I'm not defending it. Nothing in her explanation or excuses addresses why she would befriend the woman your ex cheated with before her accident. She says, she said they weren't friends before the accident. She was cordial to her. They only became close after the incident. How did they even know she was in the hospital unless she reached out to them first? You said you texted her. Did she ask you for help? I agree with everyone here saying you need to consider what narrative your son is being told. These people are master manipulators who have essentially now isolated you from your friends and family. You need to fight for every other major holiday with your son so he has memories of special times with you too. Opie replies, the hospital did contact me and my parents first, but I wasn't in a position to drop everything and take care of her. I don't know what happened after that. I assumed my parents would take care of it. I commented not the a-hole in the first post, and I still think not the a-hole, but the hospital info wasn't in the first post. I still think taking the money and hiding her relationship was purposefully deceptive, and she is a dishonest and manipulating person. You don't owe her financial subsidization. But any relationship of substance obligates people to check on hospitalized people, especially if they have bed rest after being released. no matter what's going on in your own life. It's all part of that love thing where we care about people because we love them. So therefore, love causes us to be concerned and interested in the problems of those that we love. Even with all you had going on, your lack of interest in your sister's hospitalization implies you aren't really that close, so it doesn't seem as if there's a relationship to salvage. BS. She's been feeding X and his mistress info about you for years. She has betrayed you on multiple levels for years. Example, she ran right to them to tell them you cut her off, etc. Told them word for word with her twist your whole exchange. She's also clearly a sympathy junkie and milks everyone for money, meals, rides, support, etc. She only kept quiet to keep your money flowing. My prediction, now the information highway has dried up, your ex and his mistress turned and partner loses interest in sister real fast. His mistress and partner will essentially be over sister if your ex starts giving sis money when the part-time job doesn't happen. You watch. It was fun for the three of them watching you spend your money on sister knowing you were being played, but mistress won't think it's funny when her affair partner starts supporting unemployed sister now that the betrayal is out in the open. My question is, did your son know about sister being tight with them? And did they ask him to lie for them? Some conflicting opinions on the final comments there. Where do you guys sit? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end. And I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.